Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the old hunt. We are picking up where we left off, sort of. I did that grind in between episodes, as I was saying. First of all, I just want to demonstrate I have not actually leveled up. I'm still level 18, but I have gotten a whole bunch of stuff. So I went through, I picked up the Kirk Hammer, among other things. So now we can look at its somewhat perplexing translation of the final lines whenever we want. Might be doing that. And let's see. Did I buy? Look at this. It's been a day since I did the grind, so even I don't remember. Yeah, we've got the double-barreled pistol, whatever this is actually called. And then oh yeah, I got that gear set that I promised I would get at some point. And you know what? Let's show it off. Let's put it on right. Well, I can't put it on from this menu, but I'll put it on in a minute because I want to show it off. We'll come back to this. I want to talk about the upgrade materials at some point. But what I actually want to look at, is it consumables? Where are we? Here we are. Is this little music box. Because all that lore I was talking about last time, I got completely distracted. Oh, and speaking of getting distracted, I see on the bottom left, I'm looking at the out of 99 in the inventory. My blood vials are maxed out at 99. And my Quicksilver bullets are not, but they're less important. It's not quite what I was grinding for anyway. So I got a bunch of stuff, and I've got the backup of blood vials that I was going for. So we should be good to go. And I also got this music box, and I was distracted before I began getting distracted from my distraction, if I can even keep that straight. I was distracted last episode so much that I completely forgot I wanted to show off the cool storyline involving the little girl and her mother and father and all this other stuff. So we have this item description. This is a small music box, which we received from a Yharnamite girl. Literally, I think it's like put into our care. I could be wrong. I'm going to have to look up the nuance on that one. And then it... Apparently, right, the second sentence ends with Rashi to indicate that this is information that we got from the girl herself. So apparently, this girl told us, the girl, it plays a song that is a song of reminiscence for the girl's parents. It's a omoide no kyoku, right? It's a song that is laden for them with memories. So it's sort of a lovely little phrase in Japanese that's a little bit tricky to give a good translation for. I can't remember what the official English translation was, but I remember liking it a long time ago in Translation Born. So maybe I'll put that on the screen and you can be the judge. And then let's see. On the inside, the slip of paper, fragment of paper basically, that's on the inside of the lid, appears to be written in old letter. Appears to be an old letter. Something like an old letter. Boy, listen to me. It's so hard to do this live. And you can, just barely, karojite, right? It takes you effort, but you are still able to do it. So with great effort, you can just read the names of two people. And those names are Viola and Gascoigne. And look at this. It's saying you can just barely make it out. The grammar of the Japanese at the very final line there, dearoka, right? It's another speculative formulation. So it's I think maybe I can just make out the names Viola and Gascoigne down at the bottom, at the end of this letter here. And I also like how in the image we're seeing for this music box, you can see the little fragment of a letter, and you can just barely make out some handwriting there. I don't know if it actually is legitimate, letter handwriting. But you can just make out what looks like actual English text on the inside of that box there. And let's see, can we... we're going to want to equip this to the menu. Can we use this from here? Let's use it. Oh, yeah. Oh, but it's very, very short-lived. Does it last longer if I get to it from the menu? Let's equip this. Come now. Okay, let's come back. No, it's very short. We can catch the tiniest little, phrase of that song. but it does appear to play part of the song. The song was playing when we approached that window. When we first approached that window, I forget which episode of The Old Hunt it was, but I was coming up to the door and saying, oh, we can't go through this door yet, but we can hear the music box. This is the music box. I think I might have just said the music, but that music was coming from this music box. Now we have it. Kind of a cool thing. So we are connecting this story all around, and we've confirmed basically what the girl told us. We now know her mom's name. It's not just our random woman, it's Viola, who we're looking for. And what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to switch to my Yharnam Hunter set over here. Here we go. All right. Different look, similar sort of effect. Boosts our physical defenses. If I remember correctly, this is the one where they say it has high physical defense, but sort of what's the point? Oh, and I haven't defeated these enemies in this particular setup for the game yet. So, oh, and I think this actually, if we look up here, I think this is actually the bridge that we were on. Could be wrong. Maybe this is the extension of it that is blocked off. But again, my spatial abilities, not the best. This is something else that people have picked up on about my lore analysis. It's not particularly visual. So I've been, analyzing Bloodborne's translation for a long time. I have a decent, I would say, memory of its text, and have some experience talking about it and putting the textual pieces together. I am not so great when it comes to, like, visual analysis and getting lore through visuals. There are a few things that I've watched some lore videos on, and people have pointed out to me over the years that I'm going to be wanting to point out visually, but we'll take those as they come, as I think they're relevant. Some of them involve items we've already looked at, by the way, but I don't think they're fully relevant if you're just following along with this playthrough, which I've been reminded some people are still new to Bloodborne. They're still discovering all this stuff, and potentially, I don't know, potentially someone watching this isn't intimately familiar with the game. If so, thank you for joining me in celebrating 10 years of Bloodborne. I hope you're having fun. And we don't have to go this way, because there's something else sort of lore-related that I wanted to show off that's down here. Also, there's a lot of enemies that I don't want to have to bother with. Here we go. This is a good place to show it. Look at these things. Look at these lanterns, these fixtures. They look like messengers, don't they? They look like the messengers of the dream. Now, is that evidence of this being a dream itself? Because people have seen the messengers and made sense of them and worked them into architecture? I don't know. I have no idea. Again, I'm not the best at parsing visual information. Oh, I still can't one-shot this guy with the visceral. Good to know. Okay, is this? No, it's too early. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was talking about how, like, you could say, right, like, you could say that people, like, as we keep playing the game, you'll see that there are some things that are hidden in Yharnam that you can get a sense of here, if this is the real world, that could explain why people might have access to visions of messengers and put them in the architecture. So, I don't know. Or this could be all the dream, and everyone can see the messengers that pop up at the strange lampposts, and that's worked its way into the architecture. Sort of could go either way, although maybe we don't have all the evidence of that quite yet. But I'll try and point that out again as we come across it. And I need to remember that in this version of the scenario... Oops, mistimed it for once. Okay. Alright, I'll take it. There we go. And if my follow-up to get that visceral seemed sort of off, by the way, I wanted to do that because... oh, well, I guess this works. I've got plenty of blood vials. I wanted to do that because I've noticed, I don't know if this is a 1.00 thing, but when I play the modern version of the game, I like to quick step forward. I can't do it because I'm not locked onto anyone right now. I like to quick step forward after I get an interrupt with the gun so that I can get the visceral routinely. And I've noticed that, at least in this version of the game, that's been fairly unreliable. And if I run up instead, I'm a little bit more likely to get it. I'm not sure if that's something to do with quick stepping or the visceral time window or what. Maybe that's been relaxed in subsequent patches. But I decided to err on the side of late for that quick step forward because I've been failing so much. And so I'm glad that particular visceral timing worked out. And now, we need to be very quiet. Very quiet. Because I don't want either one of these things to notice me until I get this going. Alright, and with that backstab, notice once I've gotten that visceral, that enemy's attack just went straight through me. I didn't have to worry about it at all. That was great. And I would like to keep it that way. Let's go down here. If he decides to run after us, then fine. If he decides to come down the ladder, we'll deal with it. If not, then I'm hoping the enemy will lose interest in us, and then I will go back, put its face to the wall again, and I can get another kill. In fact, I'll perhaps recklessly start climbing right back up this ladder. But you'll notice that... Oh, you're coming down. All right. Works just fine. Just fine. Let's do this. Come on, buddy. Keep going. You can attack on a ladder. Maybe I'll show this. Here. It's ridiculous. If you run out of stamina... I don't know why that killed him. If you run out of stamina when you are on a ladder... Maybe it was the injured one that followed me. You fall off the ladder. And so when you do those little swings, I think you can also do a little kick downwards. It's not working right now. You can definitely do the punch upwards. But you can attack on ladders, and that drains a little bit of your stamina. It also takes away some of the enemy's stamina, apparently, because that one fell after, presumably, I weakened its stamina enough that it couldn't hold on anymore and fell to its death. Now, was that number 1 or number 2? Interesting. They're both accounted for. All right, well, I'll take it. And here we have our bold hunter's marks. And let's press on. We're going to get a little bit of a new story, continuation of an old story. We're about to find out.
Beasts all over the shop. You'll be one of them, sooner or later.
Okay, it's Gascoigne. That name sounds familiar. And then Shimpu is attached to the end of his name. So Shimpu is like a priest. The official English translation for this boss is Father Gascoigne, who I'm going to lose this fight deliberately. I may then lose it not deliberately.
Too proud to show your true face, eh? But a sporting hunt.
So I wanted to get that dialogue because it sort of gives an insight into the mindset that good old Father Gascoigne there was in, where he sort of assumes that we are a beast, right? Like, in his dialogue before the fight, he says, you'll be one of them sooner or later. But after he kills you, he says, well, too proud to show your true face, you pretend to be human to the end, I think is, if I remember the Japanese correctly. It's not on the screen anymore, so even I'm not sure. But I can find that text and isolate it and bring it back. And I think it's like I said, indicative of his state of mind, where, as far as he's concerned, we're already a beast. Everybody's a beast. And by the way, that sort of opening phrase that also gives you an indication he thinks that everybody's a beast, beasts all over the shop. Boy, the more you know about this game, and the less you know about British English, the more confusing that phrase is. Because it turns out, all over the shop is an expression for, like, everywhere in British English, and as an American English speaker, I had no idea of that the first several times I was playing this game. And as a result, I'm just going to run past all these guys, so I'm going to go this way. As a result, I kept thinking, okay, where's the shop? that the beasts are all over. And believe it or not, there is something that you could say is the shop not too far away. And so depending on like how familiar you are with British English expressions, that is a potentially very misleading line. All over the shop just means like everywhere, beasts everywhere. So, oops. I meant to do that the first time. Let's see, I'm terrible with the parry timings. Uh-oh, can't bully this guy. Can't bully the good priest. I can spam him with my gun. Oh, what a mess. We should get this out. We know, so this thing. Ooh.
What's that smell? The sweet blood. Oh, it sings to me. It's enough to make a man sick.
All right. Ooh. Why didn't I fire my gun? I thought I hit the button. Game's calling me a liar. All right. I wanted to show. Okay, so when you play that music box, oops, you can sort of stun him for a bit. And if you'll recall, oh, maybe I'm gonna die for real. Am I stuck here? Oop, I lived. All right. This is totally amateur hour over here. All right, here we go. Give me this. In case I die for real, I want to have my blood echoing blood. I haven't had time to do the edit-in for the previous episode, by the way, but that still intrigues me. I did very briefly, I did have time to check in between that recording and this one, that they have updated the echoing blood thing in the Japanese release after 1.00. So I find that just fascinating. All right, for this phase, he's got, ooh, I'm alive. He's got me dead is what I was about to say. He's got the extended version of the Hunter Axe, which makes for an interesting combat. Here it comes again. We can sort of use this debris in the fight, not debris, graves, listen to me, how callous of me to just dismiss all these people's graves as debris. It essentially functions as a way, I mean, it does impede you, but you can, as you can see, use it strategically to your advantage, particularly because you can do that nonsense with the threaded cane. You can totally fight this fight in a very sort of cheesy way if you want. All right, and now we have Gascoigne's transformation, indicative of why maybe he is thinking that everyone else is a beast, because he's a hair's breadth away from it himself. But you'll notice the music box still does the trick. And I was supposed to use that time to get behind him to get the visceral. Oh, I got it anyway. Excellent. And let's see. Molotov? Was that the win? Excellent! All right, you hunted. That's the phrase I couldn't remember. I'm sure I've already added that into the previous episode too. But you hunted was what I was trying to remember. Okay, so we can see that Song of Fond Reminiscence, it no longer is enough to bring Gascoigne back to himself. Whether you use it in human form or in beast form, he's now too far gone. And other interesting thing to note, that mid-fight dialogue that we got where Gascoigne was talking about how he's sort of at once drawn to and repelled by the blood, right? It's this sweet thing that he is attracted to, but at the same time, it sort of makes him nauseous. It's enough to make a man sick. Very interesting. Like this sort of, they really play up this sort of intoxication parallel, which, do I have? Yes, I do. So we have a pungent blood cocktail here. And the final line, we see that alcohol does not suit Yharnam because they rather get drunk on blood, right? So we have this coupling of the idea of alcohol and blood to sort of give you the idea of this addicting substance. So I think that's super interesting. And of course, we see Father Gascoigne turn into a beast. And one of the things that is associated with beasthood is that sort of lack of control that he just can't help but go for. Can't help but go for more, even though at the same time it sort of repulses him. Interesting. Like, this is one of the few times in this game, it's not the only time, one of the few times we see a person transform into a beast, and that makes it sort of highly emblematic as a result. And of course, you can draw your own conclusions from all of this, and if they're different from mine, please let me know. I've been having a lot of fun. I've been learning things in this playthrough myself. I love that after 10 years, I'm still learning things about Bloodborne. One thing I am not learning, though, is that we just found a red jeweled brooch. Actually, the Japanese is just pure red brooch. But it's the jewel in the center of it that's red, so I think changing that to red jeweled brooch makes a ton of sense. And if we go, let's see, where is it? Is it consumable? I thought it was a consumable. Okay. So if we come over here, we have a woman's pure red brooch, and you can make out carved into it the name Viola. And the gem inside of it appears to be a gift from some hunter. I mean, some hunter. Come on, it's clearly Gascoigne. I mean, this is the thing. Remember how I was talking about how I think this storyline is very emblematic of Bloodborne's way of telling stories? They give you all these little pieces along the way, and you can sort of connect the dots. And this is one of the dots that I think is very, very easy to connect. This was clearly a gift from Gascoigne to Viola, and it's got her name on it. We know from the music box that Viola and Gascoigne are a couple. They've got at least one young daughter who was hoping that we could find them. Gascoigne's too far gone. We can't bring him back from his sort of bestial fall transformation. And Viola, it turns out, well, sort of up to you. I'm pretty sure Viola met a tragic end here. I think the corpse we picked this jewel up from is the corpse of Viola. And so I think as a result, we've got some bad news for that little girl. Anyway, by using this, we can gain a rare droplet blood gem. And let's see. If we have a tool of the workshop, with a tool of the workshop, it can strengthen any weapon. So that's a little bit more of a mechanics thing. But as we can see, we have this corpse. And some people have taken its location as indicative that this, like, I think there's a tendency to want the corpse that Gascoigne was cutting up to be Viola's corpse. But the corpse is actually found up here. So some people have taken this as a way of saying, well, he didn't really, like, kill her, did he? He didn't, like, mistake her for a beast and kill her while she was trying to bring him back to his senses, and couldn't because she didn't have the music box. I mean, turns out this story probably would have ended tragically even if she did have the music box, if our combat was any indication. But I think the way that I read this story is there was a tragic encounter between Viola and Gascoigne, and sadly, she was not able to get through to him, and he killed her, and then we put him down because he's effectively too far gone. He's lost his mind. He's succumbed to the bestial urge, whatever that means. And like I was saying, depending on your personality or interpretation, right, you can take these pieces that they've given you and connect the lines in slightly different ways. You can put the puzzle together in slightly different ways, right? This gets back to something I was talking about in the previous episode in terms of, like, interpreting the lore. So some people think, okay, it was a tragic accident in the sense that she never got to Gascoigne. She wanted to get there and died on the way, and Gascoigne isn't the one who killed her. And, you can sort of frame it however you want. The ultimate end, particularly joyful, one way or the other, but I think there are happier interpretations than others. So, like I said, I tend to be a fan of tragedy. I like to imagine, for whatever, take this how you will, what this says about me. I like to imagine the idea that Gascoigne was responsible there, ultimately. So, that's just my interpretation. And like I said, take that for what you will. And we could go back to the dream there, but I think I want to press on. By defeating that boss, we should have gained a key. Let's see if I can find it. Keys would be under key items. That makes sense. Yep, the underground tomb key. And this is a key to the gate underneath the underneath Erden. Odon is the way that the Japanese is written, but if you listen to the English language pronunciation, they pronounce it as sort of halfway between like an and an O. It's like this weird sort of half vowel. I described it linguistically. I can't remember the exact phrase for this off the top of my head, but there's a word for a sound that in English is sometimes represented with the letters O and E, and that seems to be how the English voice actors pronounce it. So Erden is the best sort of approximation. It sounds more like than it does like Oe, right? But I don't know. It I can't make the sound because I don't speak whatever necessary language you'd need to do it. But anyway, we have this is the gate, the key to the gate that closes off the underground tomb beneath Odon. And let's see, ahead of it, we have Odon Church, Odon Chapel in the official translation. And it is in the center of the cathedral ward. However, at the moment, it's unpopular and abandoned. It's an abandoned church that is unpopular. And according to rumor, the residents of Odin are have all become improper. Very literal. Improper isn't the right sense, right? Motomo is someone who is like sane, put together, normal, and Motomo de wa naku natte shimau. So everyone in Erden has sort of lost it, according to rumor. And as I was saying before, the sort of thing development with that cleric beast, maybe that's what's going on here. But remember our quest. Remember, we went to the Great Bridge hoping to get in essentially the front door to the Cathedral Ward and eventually the Grand Cathedral so we could get that information on Pale Blood. And that turned out to be a bust, so we went back to Gilbert. Gilbert was like, okay, come this way, through the aqueduct. We came through the aqueduct. If we hadn't defeated Gascoigne, we would have been confronted by a locked door. But now we have. I guess we picked the key up off his corpse. We sort of have to imagine that, because the game doesn't really make that mechanical. It just gives you the key once you win the boss fight. But now we can unlock the key, and we know that this will take us to Erden, which is in the Cathedral Ward, which is our goal. So we did it. We came in the back door. I don't know why I became suddenly very silent at the for the solemn procedure of opening that gateway, but I did. All right, and we're going to come up here into one of the most, I don't know, confounding, perplexing areas of the game. Not because of the area itself; it's like a study, like a library. I think that makes sense. It's pretty cool. But we have this note over here. Here we go. The Spider of Bergenworth is hiding all sorts of rituals. Arayuru is like all sorts of, so it sort of implies a plural for Gishiki. Gishiki means ritual. Japanese nouns don't necessarily in and of themselves indicate a plural. There are ways that you can indicate plurals in Japanese, but nouns don't inherently have them. So Gishiki could go either way. It could be ceremony or ceremonies, ritual or rituals. It's hiding all sorts of rituals, right? Because we have the Arayuru, it implies that there's a plural. Including our unseen master or our master who we are unable to have audience with. So the kanji in the second line there, the first one, normally when you see that kanji, it means mienu. Nu is a negative sense, right? So normally you would read that word as mienu, as in unable to be seen. So our unseen master, which I think is the official translation. But it is possible, and Bloodborne does use this reading in certain places in the Japanese, and it's not always clear where it's using what reading. If you read mienu as ma mienu, right, you put that little ma at the front, all of a sudden it changes to have audience with. It's a fancy word for meeting or encountering someone or something. So including our master who cannot be met with is another potential interpretation, and that ambiguity in that term is really frustrating because it could mean one thing or another for the lore, depending on your interpretation, and you sort of have to make up your mind which one. And I can't tell you what the developers intended, and I can't tell you what the best story is. You sort of have to determine what you think the best story is, what makes the most sense for yourself. And it's a little bit too early for us to sort of go into all the ins and outs of it. But that's an important thing to bear in mind, and that's why I say that this particular area of the game is kind of frustrating, because no one quite knows what to make of it. Hiroi kotoda, that at least is very simple. It's bad. This is terrible, right? And then the shaking of my head will not stop. My head shudders uncontrollably. Great translation for that part of the English. Anyway, so we have that note. And then, importantly, we have, in this treasure chest, one of the very few, like, actual treasure chests in this game. There's more than this one, but they're few and far between. And we can pick up the Blood Gem Workshop tool, which is going to be important as we continue to be able to upgrade our weapons and things like that. Am I going to read that right now? No, I think that would be a little bit of a drag. That's another... I'm really trying to figure out what the right balance of lore and progress is, and I think between 2 episodes, me just defeating one boss is a little bit on the side of not enough progress. There's going to be plenty of time. Bloodborne throws a lot at you right at the beginning of the game, and it hasn't stopped. I still consider this to be the part of the game where they're just throwing all sorts of things at you. That, like, torrent of information and supplies and world-building stuff is eventually going to slow down, and we're going to be able to take our time a little bit more and go over some of these things in a little bit more detail, hopefully, as the game goes on. Because there are periods of the game where you've picked up most of the items already. Not everything you're getting is new. And you get a little bit of space to breathe. So I'm hoping to use some of that time to talk about items like that one so that we can better balance progress and lore stuff. But I don't know, let me know. Again, as always, this is a work in progress. Let me know what you think of the balance in the comments, and we'll figure this out together. In the meantime, we're going to go in here. Here we are. It is the Cathedral Ward. And as that cutscene indicates, there are not that many cutscenes in this game, and that was one of them that we just saw. And as the sort of rarity of that event indicates, this is an important place as far as the game is concerned. And I'm going to light this lamp. Let's see. Do I want to talk to... Let's make someone's acquaintance here. Which, boy, when I first found this guy, I thought this was an enemy. And I attacked him. I don't want to test it right now, but I think you can sort of earn some forgiveness from this particular NPC if you attack him, and it doesn't end badly. But I don't want to be more more mean than I need to be. So I'm not going to test that out and potentially lock myself out of a bunch of important information. But let's say hello.
Oh, you must be a hunter. Very sorry. The incense must have masked your scent. Good. I've been waiting for one of your ilk. These hunts have everyone all locked up inside, waiting for it to end. It always does. Always has, you know, since forever. But it won't end nicely. Not this time. Even some folks hiding inside are going bad. The screams of women folk, the stench of blood, the snarls of beasts, none of them's too uncommon now. Yharnam's done for, I tell ya. But if you spot anyone with their wits about them, tell them about this here Erden Chapel. They'll be safe here. The incense wards off the beasts. Spread the word. Tell them to come on over, if you wouldn't mind. I know I shouldn't be asking you, but if you happen upon someone while hunting, tell them about this here Erden Chapel, if they seem worth being told, that is. Oh, and I do sincerely hope they are. I know I shouldn't be over
Okay.
here, but if they... Oh, and
Cool. All right, so we just got a bunch of interesting confirmations. First of all, identifies us as a hunter, and then immediately thinks, I should have smelled you, and then fills that in with, the incense must have masked your scent. So there is that telltale scent of a hunter. We encountered that on the little girl as well. And let's see, what else? There's a lot of a lot of important stuff. We found out that the incense that masked our scent also drives away the beasts, keeps the beasts at bay, which is interesting. I've heard it said that beasts are sort of associated with the sense of smell in this game to a certain extent. So maybe they just can't stand. And you can see that, right? The pungent blood cocktail attracts them. I don't think I read that part of the description, but it does. That's an item that's primary. Its primary purpose is that if you throw it, it will attract beasts to where you threw it, and then you can use that to your advantage. So the pungent blood cocktail has a scent that attracts beasts, and then we have the incense that places will burn that repels beasts. So interesting situation there. Also, there's one more thing worth noting that I lost track of while discussing those other points, which is that this person is saying tonight's hunt is unusual. This is arguably a little clearer in the Japanese because the line that's translated as, but it won't end nicely, not this time, is phrased, demo, 今回は異常だよ, where 異常literally means abnormal. Of course, in the context of the preceding line, it stands to reason that rather than saying that this night of the hunt is unusual as a blanket statement, the character would actually be saying that while the night of the hunt has always ended before, tonight might be the exception to that rule. In other words, the official translation does a good job of transitioning one line to the next while still giving contextual information that this is no ordinary night of the hunt, since the second half of the line indicates that even people inside are going bad, which presumably is worthy of comment because it doesn't happen regularly. One way or the other, though, it's important to bear in mind that we've become a hunter on an exceptionally bad night of the hunt. Having established that, I'll let Gameplay Matt get on with an explanation of the new set of quest lines that have just become available. And of course, now, like I was saying, we were going to get a quest to send people to safe places. This is one part of the quest. It is not the other part of the quest, but I think we will save the other part of that particular quest until next time, because I think this has been a decent length of episode, despite the relatively small amount of game progress. Again, if you have any feelings about that, let me know. I can pick up the pace again, and or I can continue to go at this relative snail's pace, but enjoy basking in all the lore and speculation on my part. I don't know. But until then, I wish you all the best. Thank you all for watching, and good hunting. I swear every time I have to open this menu. Good hunting.